Hey, hey, hey.
Remember Fat Albert? I got a new neighbor's name's Albert, so every time I see him,
Hey, hey,
I wonder if it's getting old to him. I don't know. This is going to be one of those ones that some of you aren't going to like it. You're going to think I'm a bullshit artist or something. I get it. Some people who know me think that. Some of you are the types of people that you don't believe in anything or believe anything unless you've experienced it yourselves or seen it yourselves. And I get it. And this goes to, it's really going to get to this recurring nightmare that I had as a kid. And that the memory of it was sparked off by a thing that's going around now. There's this, it's a drawing that people are using as a political meme that I'll get to. But it's going to be a little convoluted, but I just want to kind of tell some stories to get there first so you understand where I'm coming from. There's a lot going on. Got to get it all out. My mom, my grandmother, a lot of people in my family had this thing about premonitions. So they'd have dreams and they could tell you something was about to happen before it happened, or visions, that sort of thing. And it was passed down to me too. And just so you understand, premonitions, it's not the same thing as deja vu. Deja vu is an overwhelming feeling that you've been somewhere before, in a certain place or something. I experienced that when I was in Paris. I was in Paris for the Millennium, and I was at the Moulin Rouge, and I had such an overwhelming sense that I had been there. I had this emotion sweep over me where I broke down and cried. It was wild. And for me, that doesn't happen very often, anything like that. I get that way when I'm in the forest. I feel very at home in the forest. But anyhow, I remember using the term deja vu a lot when I was in college, my first psych course, and I was having this conversation with my professor, and he's like, no, what you're having is premonitions. That's not deja vu. Let me give you an example. My dad, in the 90s, I had a dream that something bad had happened to him. I was really frightened. So I called him the next morning, and he blew it off and couldn't talk, and a couple weeks later he called me back, and right away it's like, you and your psychic bullshit again. But that night, he was driving home this windy mountain road in Pennsylvania. Another car came around a corner and ran him off the road, and his car went off the side, rolled over on the side, and he almost died. He had a heart attack in the car, and it's funny, my dad, he recovered, climbed out the window, pushed the car back down on four wheels, and drove home. That's the kind of guy he was. If you knew him, you'd believe that. It's a true story. But anyhow, I forgot just dozens of these examples. I'll give you one that's more entertaining, funny, I suppose. In high school, I was going out with a girl, and we hadn't yet consummated the relationship, let's say. And so I guess it was a few days beforehand I had this dream. And this is one of the things, and this is how it normally happens, is I'll have a dream. I might not remember it when I wake up in the morning, but then when it's happening, I'm like, whoa, and I'll know everything that's about to happen. And that happened. We had this experience where as it was happening, it hit me that, oh wow, I remember the dream now. And the next things that happened for the next 10 or 15 happened exactly the way they happened in the dream. And oddly enough, months later, we had gotten this habit where I'd get off the bus at her stop and we'd go into her house because her mom was working. And one night I had this dream. I told her too. I said, I had a dream that your mom caught us. And that day, her mom walked in on us and caught us. It was pretty terrible, actually. It was traumatic. For both of us. But that sort of thing has always happened to me. So when I was a kid, there was this thing, this horrible nightmare I was having. And there's this image that's being used now as a political meme. A lot of you have seen it. I posted it today, actually. It's always a different message. But the image are these reptilian humanoids, right? So they're they got 2 arms, 2 legs, and they're partying. They're like at a house party, like in an apartment or something, drinking and laughing. And so there's always some message there that basically alludes to them being like the elites running the world and laughing at what their accomplishments are, where they're basically making the rest of us miserable and pulling the wool over our eyes. that's something I've been kind of like, it's always in the back of my mind. Because there's a funny one with Hillary Clinton. There's a picture of Hillary Clinton looking in the mirror, and the image in the mirror looking back at her is like a snake head, like a reptile's head. I'm not trying to pick on Hillary or women or Democrats. I feel this way about a lot of people running things, Republicans and Democrats, men and women. And it goes to this dream I had as a kid, and this was a recurring nightmare that happened it went on for years, and it was pretty regular, and it scared the crap out of me. And the image was, in the dream, it was like a black tie party, and all the dudes were wearing tuxedos, and all the women were wearing gowns, and pretty much all the people there had these reptilian heads. And man, it always freaked me out. I would wake up with just in a cold sweat, shaking. I don't think I can come up with the words to describe how it was frightening, horrifying. I still remember how I felt in my gut. Like, it made me sick to my stomach. And actually, now that I think about it, the emotions, the things I felt were more adult. It seemed like I was seeing it as that's freaky. This is not something I really want to have to experience. But anyhow, that's what it was. And this went on for years, this recurring nightmare. It was a nightmare. It scared the bejesus out of me. And when I was a kid, there was TV shows. There was Lost in Space and Star Trek, Mork from Ork. But it's not like today where you've got ancient astronauts, ancient alien theory, and all that stuff. And I wasn't necessarily into that as a kid, right? I wasn't talking to my friends about UFOs and all that sort of thing. So it wasn't like it was on the forefront of my brain, So that's the thing. It's funny that meme is out there, because it's kind of what I allude to sometimes when I get into this thing where I'm talking about the world and what I see going on in the world. Because it seems to me like these are monsters in human skin suits running things. Because what they're doing, the decisions that they're making, the way that they make our lives more miserable, the way that they take away our freedoms and our liberties and take money out of our pockets and create war and death and pestilence and all these things that they're doing, those are not human things. Those are not the things that humans are supposed to be doing to one another. Right? So it just seems to me like what makes more sense is, they're monsters disguising themselves as humans. It sounds crazy. Sounds like a sci-fi film. Sounds like They Live. You ever seen the film They Live with Roddy Piper? If you haven't seen that film, go watch it. That's what we need. We need these glasses that are going to show us, reveal who they are, where they are. We start taking these fuckers out or something. I don't know. I'm just saying, that seems more realistic to me, because it's hard for me to accept that human beings would do the things that these people running things are doing to us. Yeah. I've got a friend. I talked to him yesterday. I love this guy. I've known him since he was a kid. He's retired now, but he was a tier 1 operator, badass dude. And he's always looking. He jumps to these religions, and he's really was into the Bible. He had this vision where these angels came to him, and so we were talking about it yesterday, because my take on, I'm not a religious guy. I'm not big on religion. I believe in God and all of it. I just have a different take on it, and my take can pretty much be explained if you study the ancient astronaut theory. I don't think we can. I think when we use the term God, we're using that term so that we can understand what we're talking about. But I think God has nothing to do with religion whatsoever. To me, it's more like what Tesla talked about, and Einstein, and vibrations and energy, and being able to tap into this universal knowledge and love and all this. And anybody can do it. And that's what prayer is. When you're praying, you're really meditating. So you don't need to do it in a church. You can do it anywhere. And if you're a righteous person and you're putting out good, positive stuff, and you're looking for answers, and it's really the only way to better yourself. A lot of you have problems with other people even though those people might not have ever done anything to you, it's because you don't like yourself. You got a problem with yourself. You're transferring your emotional nonsense onto the other people around you. You think maybe those people don't possess, or maybe you don't possess some of the personality traits or whatever that these other people have. Maybe you wish you had it and you don't. And then instead of working on yourself, you just lash out and trying to make them sound bad to other people and all of that. You know what I'm talking about. It's a vicious cycle. Until you can make yourself happy and work on yourself, you're going to be a miserable person. And most of the people around you aren't going to like spending much time with you. So work on that. It's a good way to do it. Tap into it, meditate on it, and all that. I think that these beings can come to you because they can come to me. It sounds crazy. I've had some wild visions when I've meditated. And I think what happens is, I think the reason why some people see angels and some people see owls and some people actually see what looks like aliens, like gray aliens and that sort of thing, I think it's because they know when they're coming to you what you specifically can handle. They want to appear to you as an angel or an owl or one of these other things because that's psychologically you can handle it. And a lot of the times they're giving you a message that you might not remember at that moment. But it's something that's adjusting your mind, that's preparing you for something that you have to live through in this existence. I'm just trying to come up with something here, but that's what seems to me that's really going on. So I don't think you need a religion or any religion necessarily. I think there's some good stuff in religion, but religion's too stifling. There's walls there. There's rules and all this other stuff that I think is nonsense. I think be the best human being you could be righteous, help one another out, give. And when I say give, it doesn't have to be stuff. It could just be your time. Just taking the time to have a conversation, a meaningful conversation with another person and uplift them, make them feel good about themselves, make them laugh, take their mind off their worries for a few moments. That's all it takes. And then you're being an ambassador for the human race there. You know what I'm saying? I hope you do. So anyhow, that's it, man. Recurring nightmare of this image of reptilian people that frightened me my whole life. Now there's this drawing of it, and I look at what's going on in the world, and as ridiculous as this sounds to some of you listening to me right now, it's what actually makes the most sense to me, because I can't make any sense out of the moronic, evil, crazy, I just want to swear for the next 5 minutes what they're doing to us at the cost of, they're taking money out of your pockets, they're taking away your liberties and your freedoms, they're dividing us, they're trying to make you hate people you never even met before, and it's at the cost of lives. They're taking lives, they're just killing people. Sometimes I have this really crazy thing. There's a movie, and of course I won't be able to remember the name of it. I hope it comes to me. It's right there. It's from the 80s. There's a comet, and they find a spaceship in the comet, and inside the spaceship there's these 3 perfect humanoids in these crystal cases. They bring them back to Earth, and they're soul-sucking vampires. And at one point the ship is over the planet, and the souls are being shot up into the spaceship, because that's what the fuel is the human soul. And that scares the crap out of me. What if that's what's really going on? What if humans on this planet are, not all of them. I had a death experience 5 years ago, and so I know I'm going somewhere else. It's a whole thing. It's a whole other conversation. But what if there's a lot of people on this planet that they're just being farmed like cattle for their soul? What if their soul is like this pure energy? That's freaking scary, man. So don't want to freak you out. Don't have any nightmares. Meditate on it. Work on yourself. Be a better human being. Be good to each other. Laugh a little. See the movie They Live. And I'll catch you next time.